Laura Trump coming to you from my home in New York. Joe Biden has reached an all-time low as he abandons the most basic of American principles. Joining me is the former commissioner of the New York Police Department, Bernard Kerik. Bernie, thanks for joining me. Great to have you back.
Thanks, Laura.
So in city after city run by Democrats, they've seen a spike in violent crimes after defunding or scapegoating the police. What are your thoughts on what we've seen happen? How frightening is this movement?
Well, listen, first of all, a lot of these areas, it's nothing new. Chicago, Baltimore, Milwaukee, Minneapolis. These are areas that have systemically had the extreme violence, major violence, highest murder rates, black on black crime, and the Democrats have done nothing about it for years. And I mean years, like in decades years. What we've seen change is we've seen it growing to other cities. And most importantly, from my perspective, is now New York City.
Yep.
New York City, from 1994 on, each and every year, from the time Rudy Giuliani took over in 94, we saw reductions in violent crime. We saw reductions in murder. And over the 8-year period Rudy was in office, there was about a 65% reduction in violent crime and a 70% reduction in murder. Mike Bloomberg carried that on for another 12 years. This year, under Mayor de Blasio, it will be the first time in the last 30 years that we have seen increases in violent crime, shootings, murder, and other violent crime in the city. And it comes from Democratic rule. We have radical left-wing, almost militant mayors and governors today that are not enforcing the law. They're not about law and order. They're jeopardizing their own communities. And this is the party of Joe Biden. This is the party that every one of these people that run these cities are supporting Joe Biden.
That's right.
And it's shameful.
Yeah, it's really frightening. I mean, I live in New York, and I think a lot of people have always looked at New York City as really a dream city. You had the big city life, but it has been for many, many years now a very, very safe place to live. And now I think a lot of people who live in New York really question, is this a safe city anymore? I just saw a statistic the other day that said from the same week, 1 year ago in June, last week, that the shootings in New York City went up by 149%, Bernie. I mean, what are we doing here? And you made a great point. This is the party of Joe Biden. This is what he's supporting. By tolerating violence in the streets, isn't Biden abandoning both urban America and the cops?
Yeah, but Laura, he's abandoning justice in general. Forget just the urban communities, forget the cops, all across the board, whether it's in downtown Seattle, where they took over a 6-block radius, where 2 people were killed as a result, and the mayor and the governor did nothing about it, whether it's in Chicago in June. In 30 days, you had 90 people shot and killed in Chicago. 98% of them are black. It's black on black crime. It amazes me that Joe Biden is not out there screaming, yelling about law and order. He's not telling people to support the cops. Every one of his Democratic followers are calling for defunding the police. They're calling for diminishing police budgets. And you know who's going to suffer? Who suffers the most? The areas where the crime is highest.
Yep.
The black communities where the violent crime is already through the roof. It's only going to get worse. And Joe Biden is not doing anything about it. He's not saying anything about it. In fact, he just came out from his closet or basement, wherever he hides, after 90 days or whatever it was, and has said absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing at all. But Bernie, don't you think that this sort of proves, this embrace of the radical left proves that he is really one of them. I mean, this guy is getting completely overrun by mob rule here. Think about if this guy became president of the United States. It is terrifying, but he proves every day he's really one of them now.
Well, he's not only one of them. I think you're giving him a little more credit than he deserves. I just think he's going to be overrun anyway. When you have radicals like AOC, Omar, and some others that are just completely out of control. They're Marxists, they're anarchists, they're anti-American in every fashion. These are the people supporting him. These are the people that want him to win. And when he does, I can assure you, he's not going to be in charge.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of these radical lunatics that wants to basically overthrow the government, overthrow the United States, and put us in the realm of communism. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, it is. It's very frightening. I just have to say, Bernie, if you would please tell all of the law enforcement officers out there who you come across, I know you're still friends with so many of these people, having been the police commissioner in New York. It's a thankless job that these men and women do. And by and large, the majority of people in this country very much appreciate their service. They put their lives on the line every single day for all of us. They run towards the danger, not away from it. When everyone is running in one direction, they're running towards it. We can't forget about 9/11, the way people sacrificed their lives to save people then, especially in a city like New York. If you would please just tell those people out there, and I hope they know it and I hope they feel it, thank you from all of us in this country. They are the only reason, the law enforcement officers, that we have a country. Without them, this country would be overrun. Any final thoughts out there for people who maybe are thinking about, well, why shouldn't we defund the police? Maybe all of these protesters are right. What would you say to those people?
I'd say look at the communities that are in peril right now. Look at the black-on-black crime in Chicago, Baltimore, and other cities around this country. It's been like that for years. It's only going to get worse. If you want that to come to a neighborhood near you, then you vote for Joe Biden, and I promise you it's coming. And Laura, I want to close on this note, if I can. You know, there's one thing that is an inspiration to the men and women in law enforcement today. There's only one thing, and that is the man in the White House. We've never, in my lifetime, and I've been doing this 35 years, there has never been a president in the White House that's been as supportive and pro-law enforcement and pro-military as Donald Trump. Never. And I think there is one thing that's inspiring and motivating the men and women out there to continue doing their job, and it's him. Because without him and his leadership, I think they would feel completely hopeless and in despair. So, I think on behalf of all of them, I have the right to say thank you to him, to you, the people in the campaign that's pushing to get him reelected. There's never been a more important time in our country's history to work on an election like there is now.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And as always, Bernie Kerik, we appreciate you being with us. We hope to have you back very soon.
Thanks, Laura.
By supporting violent protests, Joe Biden has crossed a thin blue line that protects the very fabric of American society. That's the real news for today. If you'd like to get involved with Team Trump, go to DonaldJTrump.com or download the official Trump 2020 app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. I'm Laura Trump, coming to you from my home in New York. Thanks for joining us, everybody.